GirlyPop TV podcast. This is your co-host Blindfoldhero.
And this is your co-host, Koolkayak.
Woo!
Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello.
Welcome in. So today we're talking about
what it's like being Asian American and our experiences with it. I think this will be a really fun episode. I was saying this earlier that, we are two different Asians and I am biracial. So our experiences are going to be different and similar at the same time. So it'll be really interesting to see how things are similar and how things aren't similar.
Yeah, you want to show our shirts to the viewers real quick?
Yes.
So if you are an audio-only listener, we are currently wearing Asian American themed shirts. So right now I'm wearing this black shirt that says Asian American Girl Club in like light pink text. And
that's so cute. I love it. Yes, and I'm wearing, here, I'll show the viewers. It's a shirt that I got from the Philippines last year, September 2024, and it states Philippine Jeepney, and then it shows an actual animated rendition of a jeepney. Excuse me. And for those who don't know what a jeepney is, it's basically like a big old looking truck / Jeep that holds a bunch of people, and you're paying like a taxi service to be able to go from one place to another. It's very popular in the Philippines. So, and I thought this is a very colorful shirt too. This is why I picked it, because I thought it was cute.
I know. I love what is it called? The primary colors. There's an artist word for that. I forgot. But like the primary colors, like the tritone, the art style is very cool.
Yeah. So check out the YouTube video if you're listening, if you want to see our shirts.
Yeah. Okay, so to start off, what is your ethnicity, to be exact?
So I am Filipino and white, I guess is the very general way of it. Mm-hmm. Specifically for my white side, I am German, French, and then I'm sure there's Irish, Scottish, whatever. And then for the Filipino side, primarily in the Visayan Islands. I think I'll just say it at that extent, the Visayan Islands. Yeah. Cool. How about you?
Nice. So I'm Taiwanese American. And both my parents were born and raised in Taiwan. My dad has deeper ancestral roots in Taiwan because like his parents and then their parents and like they go all the way back, having lived in Taiwan. But my mom's side of the family, like my grandparents were originally from China, and then they fled to Taiwan during the communist reign. And then my mom's mom, my grandma, grew up in Shanghai. So she actually speaks Shanghainese, and my mom can understand a little bit of it because she spoke it to her growing up, but my mom can't really speak it. She can just kind of understand it. And then my grandpa is from Anhui, which is a province in China, but I don't know exactly which city from Anhui he's from. So my mom's family is pretty Chinese, even though she was born and raised in Taiwan. And my dad's family is pretty Taiwanese. So I guess that makes me Chinese Taiwanese American? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I actually just went back to Taiwan like 2 weeks ago. If you guys didn't listen to the previous episode, which you totally should, you go check that out right now if you haven't already, where I talked all about my Taiwan and Korea trip. But yeah, I recently went back to Taiwan, and it was really cool getting to reconnect with kind of my ancestral roots and heritage, which I talked about more on the previous episode.
You went so into it. Okay. Now I have some things that I would also like to say, because you made some good points when describing your ethnicity. Mm-hmm. The part that's also part of me is that I was born and raised in the United States.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I didn't. I am not from the Philippines or from Europe. I am American, or American United Statesian.
Yeah.
Because it's like we have a North America and a South America. And it's like, I
Yeah, that's
know
true.
generally we say American to reference the United States, but it's like America is so large.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was born and raised in the United States, but I come from my mom who was born in the Philippines and came to the United States. And then my dad who was born in the United States, raised in the United States. So yeah. So I just wanted to add that part too. Hee. But yeah, so only half of my family is I was basically born as a child from an immigrant, but then I also had the experience of my dad who is not an immigrant. So I kind of saw both sides of that, and like my mom eventually became a United States citizen, so now she's a citizen. But growing up, she wasn't, but she was here legally and stuff like that. But I'm not really, she never really shared like the processes for that growing up. Like it was never at the forefront of my mind. And it didn't seem like she really shared that with me and kind of kept it more hush hush from me. I'd have to actually talk to her about that because now I'm genuinely curious if she like what was that like for her and stuff like that. But my mom remarried when I was really young, so maybe that's also another component as to why it wasn't a really big issue in my life, as far as like being an immigrant, because she was married to someone who was born in the US, so, and then had a child who was also born in the US. So I don't know if that just like changed things for her. But yeah, I think she may have worried more about immigration status prior to when I was born. But yeah, what about you? What's
Yeah,
your
that makes
experience with
sense.
are your parents are immigrants?
Yeah, yeah, they were both born and
Yeah.
raised in Taiwan, and my
Mm-hmm.
mom moved to the U.S. in her 20s. And I think my dad the same as well, because they
Mm-hmm.
both moved to the U.S. for grad school. That's where they met, actually,
Whoa.
in Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they met in Michigan University.
Whoa.
Yeah, so and I just remember my mom saying like the immigration process, like to become a citizen, is a lot of memorization. Like she had to
Yeah.
like study a lot for it. But I don't remember the exact details of her talking about it. But obviously, like, you had to get a green card first and then go through the whole
Yeah.
process. But I think the process to become a citizen now is like way more complicated, like versus like
Yeah.
30 years ago. So
Yeah.
because they
I
made things
think
so much stricter and stuff.
I I briefly remember my mom studying for citizenship because she did become a citizen when I was like I had to be before I was a
Yeah.
teenager. So, but for me I was like, wow, that's a long time. I feel like you've like been here for like a decade or
Yeah.
more. Like I was just a kid being like, why did it take so long,
I know,
But
right?
not knowing, I didn't quite
Yeah, it's
understand
so
the complexities
hard
of it.
to become a
Yeah.
citizen, honestly. My dad actually has
Yeah.
dual citizenship. He has American and Taiwanese citizenship. 'Cause
Oh, wow.
he has two passports. Because he
Yeah,
lives in
yeah.
Taiwan currently.
Right.
So he has two passports, which is pretty cool. But I know it's
That is
like
awesome.
a lot of work to like upkeep it. So
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what is, I guess, your experience as being an Asian American? I know that's like super broad.
Yeah. I think growing up, okay, because I feel like there's a difference with the way that you present in the world, and of course, like the identity that you hold within yourself. And the way that I presented in the world, I feel like as a kid, I definitely looked more Asian than I did when I was college age and older. So when I was younger, like the typical bullying I would get would be like honestly, this is going to be offensive, but I'm just like showing what I experienced, but it would mostly be people referring to me as Chinese, not knowing that I was Filipino. And so I would always be confused, like, why
Mm-hmm.
are they saying ching chong to me? Like, that doesn't make any sense to
Mm-hmm.
me. Or I'd
Yeah.
just be confused at that. Um,
Yeah. Which that
and it,
slur I also don't get because that's not even like a real word. You know, in Chinese,
yeah,
what does that even mean? Like I honestly don't even know what that means. Like where did that come from? Because like, you know,
I literally think the same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like growing up, like people called me that all the time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like as someone who knew how to speak Mandarin Chinese fluently, I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, like I'll just say like some random words like that, and they're like, oh, it probably means something in Chinese, right? I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I have a feeling it's for people who don't know what, Chinese, and based off of what they hear it, they
that's what that
mimic it
sounds
in
like.
that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
oh, that makes
That's
sense. Yeah,
that's my assumption with that. And
yeah,
like for me growing up, I would receive that all the time with
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ching chong, or even like people moving their eyes in a certain way to make them
Oh,
have
the
like,
squinting.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got
But
that
I would be
too.
confused. I like personally for me, I would just be confused because
Mm-hmm.
like I'm Filipino, but even though I have Chinese in me, like I just identified with with Filipino.
Yeah.
So it confused me growing up. So I just could be kind of like I didn't know what to say to that and stuff like that.
Mm.
But honestly, the older I got, I feel like, the more my face, matured, I people who are Asian or Filipino usually can recognize that I'm a half Asian, half white person, or at least a biracial of some sort of Asian. Um, so most of the time, people who would assume my race, it would be like like Asians who would know like, oh, you're like part Filipino or like part Mexican, right? Like that's the two that I would get most of the time. Or sometimes people would say I'm part Korean and part Mexican, which I don't understand how I look Korean, to
Yeah,
be
that
honest.
makes it like you don't look Korean. That doesn't make
That's the
sense.
exact I'm like,
I don't get
I do
it.
not see
Like
that. Yeah.
you don't look Korean or
Yeah.
Mexican.
Well, I know I always thought that I didn't look Mexican either. I mean, I have permed my hair, which made me look definitely different.
Uh huh.
And like that's when I started seeing like people just automatically start speaking Spanish to me. And I'm like, oh, the hair
Whoa, no way.
changed the way people interact with me. Yeah. Like I would be one time,
That's
I'm
wild.
like with my permed hair, I went to this like, club, and it's like primarily Spanish music. And like most people who would come up to me to ask me to dance, they're like, "Quieres bailar?" And I'm like, it would knock me off guard because like, I'm not really thinking in Spanish. So at first I'd be like, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And then they would start speaking to me in Spanish even more, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm no,
Yeah, that's
no, no, thank
wild.
you."
I don't know, I think Mexican is wild because you're not even like a person like any percentage
Yeah, not at
Like
all.
Hispanic like nothing, right?
Not even Spanish, and
Yeah.
which is surprising because initially I thought that with being Filipino and like my family coming from the Philippines, like everyone knows that the Spanish colonized the Philippines, and but
Mm-hmm.
most people assume that they have at least a little bit of Spanish in them who are Filipino, and like I have found that I have no Spanish in me whatsoever. Like it's just Chinese and Filipino, and that's it, and
Mm-hmm.
then white, of course, but
Yeah.
for that side. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like the way that I've walked in this world has
Mm-hmm.
definitely shifted like since I was a kid to
Yeah,
now.
same.
And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like now I'm more ambiguous than like clearly a race. So, most people are confused by me in general. Like I said, unless they're like
Mm-hmm.
also Asian or also Filipino or also biracial, or if they were a white man who's married to a Filipino woman and who has half white, half Filipino kids, they're like, my wife is
That's so
also
specific. Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah.
And because it's so odd, but it has happened to me multiple times where like a white man will tell me that, and it's kind of like, I
That's
don't know what to say to that, sir.
wild. Yeah,
Cool.
like what would you even say to that?
I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
It sounds
Feels
like
weird.
when people say, "Oh, I have a black friend."
Yeah.
It feels that kind of vibe, but it's even wilder because they're talking about their wife. So I'm like, sometimes I wonder, like, does the wife not feel that vibe too? I don't know.
I don't know because it would mostly happen, especially when I was like working in customer service. So you like always are talking to people from
Yeah.
different, backgrounds or different walks of life. And like, yeah, I that would be like the one thing that I would get from white men in particular.
Yeah,
Um,
that's wild.
and then like people always have said that I look like Olivia Munn, who is half Chinese and half white. So that's also an
Oh,
interesting tidbit.
interesting. I don't know
They're
who that
like, "You
is,
look like
but
Olivia Munn." She's she plays Psylocke.
I don't know.
Um
I'll look her up
yeah, you
later.
can look her up.
Yeah,
Um
that's wild. Because when I first met you, through or found, through the random raid, which we actually talked about in the content creation episode, which you guys should check that out, if you haven't already.
nice.
But yeah, I didn't think you were like Mexican or Spanish or anything. I was just like, oh, half Asian, half white.
Did you already know that I was half Asian, half white
Yeah, that's what
before
you
I
look.
said it?
That's what you looked like to me.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Most Asian people know right away,
Yeah.
or most Filipino people know right away.
Yeah. Like,
But
I
it's
knew right
everybody
away.
else.
Like, I don't know. Mexican is wild to me because I did not even think you looked any bit of Mexican, like, at all. You know,
I've gotten that a
like I
lot.
was like, oh, yeah, he's just half Asian. Like, I don't know. That's
Pe-
wild. That's wild to me.
people assume that I'm either half Mexican or they just assume I am Mexican in just in general.
Wow. That's
Um,
wild.
I don't know now though. Like I think mostly it has happened when I had permed hair, but I mean I had wavy hair growing up too, so I don't know. Like my hair is not like Asian that how like my mom's hair is like straight. My
Yeah.
hair is not like my mom's. My mom has straight hair. My dad has hair like this where it's like
Oh,
has a
I
wave to
see.
it
Yeah.
or it like curves and stuff. So I definitely have like my dad's hair.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, how about you? What is your
Um,
experience as far
yeah.
as like how you present in the world and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I guess growing up, going all the way back, I grew up in a very white town. It was literally like a retirement town for old white people. So I was like one of 3 Asian kids in my entire grade, and it was like that for like elementary, middle, and high school.
Wow.
And yeah, and I made friends with some of the Asian kids, but then people always call us like the Asians. They're like, oh, it's the Asians hanging out, and then even like them. I don't think I said that, but even them, they'd be like, oh, like we're the Asians. Like they would like take it up as like a word to be proud of. I mean, and it's it's good to be proud to be Asian, but the way they were saying it was like, oh yeah, like we're the Asian, because there's like no one else who was Asian. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like
Yeah.
weird to me. And like honestly speaking, like I was embarrassed of being Asian, like especially when everyone around you was white. I felt like
Yeah.
people always view me kind of like different, I guess. And we can talk about this when we go into like stereotypes and stuff later, but I feel like it kind of like perpetuates like the forever foreign stereotype, which I also want to talk about later, which is basically a stereotype that says Asian people are seen as foreigners, like no matter how long you've lived in the US. So I kind of felt like that growing up because I always had to tell people like, oh, I'm born here. I was raised here. I was not born in China, but I still felt othered,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I would be embarrassed to say I was Asian, but I was, I look very Asian, so I couldn't like not hide that I was Asian. And my mom was a Chinese teacher at the same school that I went to, so,
Oh, whoa.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I had some classmates in some like my classes in high school that would also take her class too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. So people knew me as like the Chinese kid or like the Chinese teacher's kid, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, just like growing up, I felt, I guess, embarrassed to be Asian. And all my close friends were white. And they didn't really understand like Asian cultures and traditions, I guess. And then just like, I guess like your basic like Asian like tradition, not traditions, just like culture values, I guess. Just like even like simple things like taking your shoes off, like they didn't get that.
Yeah.
I was like, you know. And I didn't grow out of that feeling until I went to college. And I really wanted to go to a college that was far away from where I grew up because I felt so closed in. Like everything in that town was like a bubble because it was a very small white town. It felt like I was in a bubble. And I wanted to break out of that bubble. I wanted to break out of that box. And I did so by going to a university that was in a big city that was very far away from where I lived. And there at that university, I met so many people who were also Asian American.
Yeah.
And there are people who looked like me, you know, people who shared the same culture as me, people who grew up with similar lifestyles, childhoods, and experiences. Because I feel like it's different to be Asian American versus like American or Asian. Because like growing up in that, you know, small white town, I felt like I was too Asian for them, you know, and I didn't feel American enough. But I also like traveled to Taiwan like almost every summer with my mom. Like we would also go to like Japan, Korea, China. And there like obviously everyone was Asian, right? But there I felt too American. Like I felt like I wasn't Asian enough for the people in Asia. So growing up, I felt like I was too American in Asia and I was too Asian in America. So I didn't really feel like there was anywhere I could belong until I went to college. I met other Asian Americans. And that's when I realized, oh, like you don't have to try to be 100% American. You also don't have to try to be 100% Asian. You can just be 100% Asian American. Because Asian American is its own identity. You don't have to try to fit into one or the other. You can just be Asian American. That's its own thing. And I didn't fully realize that until I went to college and met other Asian Americans around me. And I also joined like this huge Asian American organization that we had in college. I became like, what's it called? Like a leader. What is it? Like I was on the executive board. For like the Chinese organization. And just being around so many people who like basically had the same experience as me. Like a lot of those people were also embarrassed to be Asian, like growing up in their, you know, respective small white towns, and then they came to college too, and like everything changed for them. So it was like literally like similar experience, like almost the same identical experiences as me. I was like, wow, like I have not had any like original experiences ever. But that really affected me and like dramatically shift, you know, my perspective on my identity, and it led me to being very proud of who I am. So sometimes I think about like what would have happened if I never went to college. Like would I still be that, you know, person who is trying so hard to fit into one or the other, that person who is like so embarrassed to just be myself? So sometimes I wonder, I'm like, if I never went to college, I would be a fragment of like a shell of who I am today. So I really have to thank college for really changing my life. It sounds cringy, but it really did. Now all my friends, like even today, are still my friends from college, and all of them are Asian American too. So it's just so cool to be friends with people who like understand, people who get it, you know.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned like about like being too American for Asia, but then also being too Asian for when you're in America. I feel very similar with my identity at least, but it's a little different because like I'm half white and half Filipino, so I never felt like I was Filipino enough, and I never felt like I was like white either. Like and like I don't know why it didn't really like lodge into my brain that like it's okay because you're literally both. And that's cool. Like you have two experiences built into one, which is an identity in itself. But
Yeah.
for me, I think I always felt this need to choose one side, or like, because that's all I would see. You know, there wasn't a lot of people that I knew who were multiracial or biracial, which is kind of crazy because you would think in California at least that. But like I went to a high school that was predominantly white, even though there were like still there was diversity, but like the town was more white. And so yeah, I feel like I just kind of always felt out of place. And like it's interesting because I grew up in an area before high school. I grew up in Chula Vista, California, which is like a few minutes from the border. And like that was like predominantly I'm around like Mexican people, honestly. So I just like that is what I was really used to. And then when I moved to another high school in a different neighborhood, then it became just a widely different experience. And that's when I was realizing my identity, but like now not realizing my identity, but I just didn't know how to cope with it because we had the same thing where there were the Asians, and then there were like everything was categorized by race, and like I just didn't know where I fit in. And I even in like the people who were part of the Asians, like still kind of had like this feeling of like I don't feel Asian enough, and I don't feel white enough. So I'm like in this middle ground and unsure where to go. And it wasn't until college when I realized that being biracial doesn't mean you pick a side. It just means this is who you are as a whole.
Yeah.
And that is what makes you unique. But it turns out, like, I also met people who were similar to me, that it's not as unique of an experience as I initially thought. And I have felt more seen with who I am than ever.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
Yeah, and I love sharing this about me because I feel like I feel very diversified, honestly, and that's so fun.
That's
And
so amazing.
Like I can empathize wider than just my own culture too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that.
Like that's kind of how I'm like now coping with it, was now realizing like I'm both, and that's amazing. That's unique and that's awesome,
Yeah,
you know?
as it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is honestly, like, people who are just one, like, are missing that. So
It's interesting because I'm not gonna lie, talking about this topic is a little like nerve-wracking for me because maybe I still have some like leftover like insecurities about it. But like, you know, growing up, I was very insecure about being biracial. And then like now I do feel very like solidified with myself, but I could still feel like the leftover like, ooh, wow, I'm saying this out loud in front of an audience. This is very surreal.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's how I'll feel. Like, I feel very confident in my racial identity and my ethnicity right now. But I think that's how I will feel if we talk about the LGBT episode.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be an interesting.
Yeah, when that happens. So stay tuned on
yes.
GirlyPop TV podcast. But yeah, no, I feel the same way as you. Like, and it's interesting to me because in like middle school, high school, I was very shy and very self-conscious and very, I guess, like, nervous about life in general. And when I went to college, I suddenly became like very outgoing and extroverted, and I feel like I gained a lot of confidence in college, and part of that is being able to accept my, you know, racial identity, being able to accept that I am Asian American, and not just accepting it, but becoming proud of it and confident in it. And a lot of that is because of, you know, joining that Asian American organization. Like, we like did a lot of advocacy work about, about Asian American issues, and I had to do a lot of research too about Asian American issues. I wrote a lot of things, made a lot of PowerPoint presentations about it, and just being around like so many like Asian Americans, like that really changed something within me for real.
Yeah.
But
I hear you with that.
Yeah, so it's just interesting how like my personality like almost changed. Like in college, I feel like I was like very like like the streamer me, like how I'm like very like outgoing, extroverted. But like in high school, like I was so different. Like literally, you know how you have like superlatives like your senior year of high school and stuff. So I was in band.
I don't think I did.
Oh well, I was in
what's
band.
Superlative?
So like awards where you get like the most like the funniest person award or like the
wow, that's what it's called. I didn't know that.
Yeah, or like the person who did this, blah, 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 So I was in band in high school, and we would have superlatives like for our like end of the year banquet, and for my senior year I got the quietest band student award for my band superlative. So yeah, everyone like always viewed me as quiet, shy, and awkward, but that completely changed in college. So yeah, it was just very different, and I think college just like joining that Asian American organization, it just really helped me be able to embrace my heritage, my culture, and ultimately like who I am as a person overall. So yeah, it's wild looking back.
It's interesting because now I'm looking back too. And it wasn't until honestly, it wasn't until I moved to a predominantly white neighborhood is when my race was straight up in my face. But when I lived in Chula Vista, like it didn't really occur to me that much. Like it wasn't something that like I knew I was Filipino and I knew I was white, but it wasn't like in my face, if that makes sense. Like other than the fact that I was Asian. I don't know how to explain that. I don't maybe I need to like unravel that, but it wasn't loud and in my face where like I felt like I didn't belong until high school. And then even in college, I still felt similarly, but then, the more that I met people, the more I was realizing like, oh wait. like it wasn't, a lot of it had to do with my own like fear of inadequacy and like reaching an expectation that I thought I had to reach when it's not about that in general.
That makes sense. I see.
And I think writing that article, because I was part of like the student journalism, so I wanted to write that article on like the identity crisis that comes with being multiracial or biracial, because I wanted to put my thoughts out there and reach out to people who also felt the same way or who also have been through something similar. Because like I did meet people offhand every now and then who were biracial, and they would tell me similar things where they just never felt enough on either side. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I felt so seen by then. So yeah, I think that was my way of kind of like channeling that insecurity and putting it out there in the world too, and sharing it amongst like friends who also were like, hey, I saw your article and I felt the same way. And it was like, wow, that's very impactful to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why like I think what changed me the most was having, Asian American friends. Just being around Asian American people, like people who understand, people who get it, people who can relate and have shared similar experiences to you. And that's also why like representation is so important. Like not just like within your personal inner sphere, but even with like movies and books and like things you see online. Like that's why I feel like when I was growing up, like everyone was white online, and I think it's better now. People like a lot of TV shows and movies and series are trying to be more diverse. But like 20 years ago, everyone was white.
No.
Like I don't know, Friends, like How I Met Your Mother, like everyone was white. And if there was an Asian person, it would be like this like really stereotypical, Asian character.
They're either like the nerd stereotype or like a goofy
Yeah.
representation
Yeah.
of a character, but they're Asian for
Yeah.
some reason.
Like the character being Asian would be their entire personality,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Which is, it makes sense because most directors and writers were white. So you're
Yeah.
literally seeing the perspective of
Of
white
white
people,
people.
honestly. Yeah,
That's so
like,
bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so like we have terrible representation, growing up. So maybe that also contribute to our like internalized racism too. So that's why representation is so important in media. Like
oh,
that's
for
something I will
real.
always like forever stand by. Like representation in media. Like especially growing
Definitely.
up as a child, like just being able to see yourself on screen is like so underrated. Like it's so significant and impactful on a child growing up who is able to see themselves in TV shows and books and movies and be like, oh, like the hero is like Asian American, maybe
Yep.
that could be me too. Instead, they
Yeah.
just see the goofy, stereotypical Asian in these shows and they're like, oh, I guess that's all I could ever amount to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
funny you mentioned that because one of my last classes was in college was the Asian American in the media, and
Yeah.
we went through many like films from like all the way back to black and white era, all the way till now, and like it's insane how much Asian people weren't able to play as an Asian
Oh,
person,
yeah.
that they would actually have a white person do yellow face is
That's,
wild to
yeah,
me.
that's wild.
And I know it was normalized back then, so maybe back then they didn't bat an eye towards that. But it is so wild when I was like learning all of it because I had no idea when I was watching the films that um
Like, why can't you just hire
we
an
had to
Asian
do.
person? It's not like there's no Asian actors or actresses out there. Like, I
I
honestly don't
exactly.
get it. And not just for Asians, for like all different, ethnicities and races too. Why can't you just hire the person? Like, I don't get it.
Right. No, and that's so valid, and that it applies so much now where it's like why like the whole Lilo and Stitch controversy, like there's like talks about, like what's the mom's name? Do you know Lilo and Stitch? Is it
uh,
Nani?
oh, that's the sister, I think.
The
Not
sister,
Nani. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, she's a mother
Nami,
figure.
Nani. Yeah, yeah,
Nani, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there were talks about like who they casted for Nani
Oh,
and
really?
Lilo, yeah. Because
Because I
like
know they're
I
supposed
don't
to be
know.
Hawaiian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but
But
wait, did
I
they cast white
believe
people?
no, no, no,
I don't
no.
know
I
about
think
it.
they're
Oh,
at
okay.
least partially Pacific Islander.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I'll have to research that one. But
Okay,
it's
okay.
worth researching about. Um I also wanted to mention that recently I was casted in a film, and in this film I was literally playing a half Filipino and half white girl.
Oh, cool.
Like
Wow.
in
So
my
you're
older
playing yourself.
20s. Literally, I was literally playing myself. But when
Yeah.
I thought about it, especially now after the fact, where like, I'm in this short film and I am representing literally who I am. And now I'm casted in this film and I represent that. And there's going to be people who are going to watch it and see that. And like, if there is ever to be someone who also has been through their own struggles with being biracial and then now seeing it on a bigger screen, I don't know, like that warms my heart. And I know it's
Yeah, I
see
love
that
that.
there's complexities to this because in the Philippines, being mestiza or like being like have a Eurocentric nose, fair skin, and like partially Asian, partially Filipino is more accepted in the media than to be like Filipino with a flat nose and darker skinned. That's like the set beauty standard in the Philippines. So there's a conflict within me because like in the US, I never see any Filipinos in American media. And if they are, they're usually playing an ambiguous person. They're not like clearly where you
Yeah.
can tell what their race is. Um, and so the only time I've actually really seen like Filipino, someone who's blatantly Filipino, the culture is being represented is like in the Spider-Man movie when it was Spider-Man's friend. Oh,
Oh, the
Jacob.
Tom Holland one?
Yes, the Tom Holland one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
looked up
yeah,
his
I know who you're
name.
talking about. He's very famous. I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, Jacob
Yeah,
Batalon.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh, he's
probably butchering that
Filipino.
name.
Nice.
Yeah. And but like they're speaking Tagalog in the film too, which was like I was shook when I was watching it, like damn near cried because I was like, you
Aw.
never see,
Yeah.
especially in a mainstream film,
Yeah.
you never see Filipinos being represented because we are mostly being casted as like Mexican, honestly, or just another race or just an ambiguous character, honestly. Um, and so it's just really sick to see people being casted and represented and there's research being done.
Yeah.
Especially Filipinos. I feel like Filipinos kind of are like the underdogs when it comes to entertainment, at least in the US. So it's like when you
Yeah.
see that's why Filipinos be rooting for anyone even if they're like 25%
Yeah.
Filipino. They're just like, "Hey, uy,
I
Filipino."
love
You know,
that.
like so yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I feel very like honored that I got to be in something that represents me and then I can now that that's going to be out in the world soon,
Aw, I love
like
that.
at
I need to watch
least
it.
it's represented. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. That's kind of how I felt when like Crazy Rich Asians came out because that was a super mainstream movie. And they literally like spoke Chinese like a lot, like so much in the movie. And I feel like I've seen people speak Chinese before in movies, but it's usually not very like I guess authentic or it's like characters like making fun like ni hao or like
Yeah. Yeah.
saying things in a very obviously stereotypical like Chinese accent and all that.
Yeah.
But like in Crazy Rich Asians, like they were like one the actresses and actors were actually Chinese, and they were the ones speaking Chinese, and instead of like dubbing it over in English, they just put like English subtitles like on the in the movie, because I feel like a lot of films when they have like people talk in like a different language, they usually just make them speak in English, and then like they're like, oh, they're actually speaking in Chinese or like whatever foreign language, but we just don't want to
Yeah.
put it on
Yeah.
screen. But like they actually spoke Chinese for like an entire conversation. They just put like the subtitles on screen. And I was like, wow, because people like hate reading subtitles for some reason, like mainstream
Yeah,
wise.
I don't know what that's
Yeah, I don't
about.
get that. So I was surprised for such a big movie they just put like subtitles on the screen, and I was like, wow, and it's like authentic Chinese by
Awesome.
authentic Chinese actors and actresses. So yeah, I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. There was a film that I never watched it, but Joe Coy is the one that did it. And there's already a lot of controversy when it comes to Joe Coy, even from people who are Filipino. And so I actually haven't gotten a chance to watch it, although I would be open to it.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, it's representing family dynamics in a Filipino household.
Cool.
So I would be interested into seeing what kind of how he portrays that. Let me look
Yeah.
it up so I can at least tell you
Yeah.
guys
Mm-hmm.
Joe
Yeah, for
Coy's
sure.
film.
That's awesome. Like I think representation in media is just so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easter
Speaking of which, like,
Sunday.
what are some of your favorite like Asian American or just like Asian, well, not Asian American like media, or like books, movies, TV shows.
At least like I started watching, where is it? Oh, Tresse or Tressie? Tresse. It's an animated horror
Oh,
cartoon,
interesting.
but it's it's in Manila, Philippines, and
Oh.
it's basically a Filipino cartoon. And I've never seen that in my life, dude. Never ever seen that in my life. So I started watching it recently.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's based on a Filipino comic series,
Mm.
Trese. It's anime influenced,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, cool.
you can watch it in Tagalog too, which is really cool. I was
Oh,
trying to do that.
nice. Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um, and then as far as things that I want to read, because in research, I realized how much I actually don't know a lot of Asian books or
Mm-hmm.
TV shows because I don't really watch K-dramas and like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really grow up watching the soap or Filipino like soap operas kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
because my mom wasn't really into it, so I just was really never exposed to it. Um but I did find that I was really interested in getting to know Philippine folklore, especially considering
Mm.
that in the show Trese, they do reference more Philippine folklore,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Oh,
pretty
cool.
cool.
Nice.
Um, but I did read Joy Luck Club when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I really loved that book.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I'm looking at all my references.
I know. I need to read or I need to consume more Asian American media. Because I consume
Yes,
a lot
me
of like
too.
Asian media. Like I watch a lot of K dramas. I like K-pop, anime. But I want to consume more like mainly like Asian American stuff. You know, not just Asian stuff. Like
Yes.
specifically Asian American. Yeah, like everything, everywhere, all at once is really good.
Yes.
Um, that's Asian American.
Yeah, that's like my favorite movie.
Oh,
Past
really? Yeah, it's really
lives.
good.
Oh,
There's, yes.
sorry. I'm sorry. Now I'm like now it's flowing. Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
Past
Michelle Yeoh
Lives,
is so good. Like
she is
she's amazing.
outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Didn't you just
Oh,
get it?
it's called Perfect Day.
Perfect day.
So
Okay.
Perfect Day, it's a film that's spoken only in Japanese,
Oh,
so it's
uh-huh.
subtitled, but it's a feature film about just a Japanese man living his day-to-day life as a janitor in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so beautifully simple and literally it's I don't know, it's such a peaceful movie. I really enjoyed it and it's like one of
Hmm.
my favorites, but I guess that's considered an Asian American film, yeah.
Oh, nice. I've also seen Farewell. Aquafina stars in it.
Hmm.
It was pretty good.
Oh,
It's like short. It's pretty short. Um,
it's a TV series or film?
no, it's film.
Okay.
I heard Tiger Tail is good. I haven't seen it though. I
Oh, I haven't
heard
seen that.
Didi is good. Means younger brother in Chinese. I heard
I
that was
watched
good
that
too.
one.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
did you like it?
Yeah. I did.
Oh, I need to
It's
watch
really
it.
cute slice of life. The way it's filmed
Oh,
is also has like that similar like it's
like nostalgic
simple. It's
vibe.
very
Yeah, yeah.
nostalgic because it goes back to like MySpace era. So it did feel very
Oh,
like when I was watching it, I was like, dang, they
yeah.
really
It's about
captured like early
a
2000s.
Taiwanese American, which is me. So I wanted to watch it.
Wow. Yeah, you should watch it. It's cute.
I heard Minari was good. I think
Oh,
that's
that
Asian.
is wow. Maybe I have
Oh
seen more.
wait,
I have
wait.
seen
You
that
seen?
film.
Oh, you have? Oh, was it
Yeah,
good?
that's the
Oh, wait,
one with
you've seen so many.
I know. I guess I didn't realize how many I have seen.
Yeah,
That's the guy from The Walking Dead, right? What's his name?
I
Uh
don't know. I've never seen The Walking Dead. I don't like zombies.
Minari. Yeah, that one's a really it's kind of similar to Past Lives, but
Okay.
not the story, but the
Uh-huh.
way the feel of
Oh.
it, the feel of it, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's something I have to watch as well.
Stephen
Um.
Yun. Yeah, Stephen
Oh,
Yun.
okay. In Minari.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've watched Saving Face, which is
Hmm.
actually about a lesbian woman and how she's dealing with that in Asian culture. Because you know it's very frowned upon to be queer
Whoa.
in Asian culture. So
Yeah.
it's
Saving
it both
Face.
talks about being Asian American and being queer at the same time. I watched it, but it's really old. It came out in like 2004, so it was like kind of revolutionary for the time. You know, like literally what 20 years ago. So you don't see stuff
Yeah.
like that 20 years ago. So it was pretty revolutionary, like very different, for its time.
Yeah, it's directed by also an Asian American
Yeah.
female director. That is
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
you should watch. It has a lot of very like wild ideas for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
progressive.
yeah, progressive, that's the word. Very progressive ideas for the time.
That's
So it talks
awesome.
about the main character is a lesbian, but she's like afraid to tell her mom and or her family because they're very traditional.
Yeah.
And it talks about her life as an Asian American or like a Chinese American and also being a lesbian, and I think a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
But it's like really short too. Like all these movies are like an hour long or something. It's like really short. But I remember watching that. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm gonna save that one.
Have you seen Joyride?
That sounds familiar.
I heard that was
Joyride.
good. I haven't seen that either. Oh, you've seen
Joyride.
Saving
Oh,
Face?
yes.
Yeah.
I have seen Joyride.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I saw
Oh.
that in theaters.
Oh, did you like
It's
it? Wow,
really funny.
you've seen so
Yeah.
many things that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
So
I was like, I think I've watched a lot of Asian media
yeah,
more
so
than
you
I
have
realized.
seen a lot of Asian American movies and media.
Yeah.
And I also really wanted to read Cry in H Mart. I heard that was really good.
Yeah, me
It's a
too.
book, but I heard it's really sad, and it talks about the main character's like mom passing away. And every time she goes to H Mart, she cries because that reminds her of her mom. And it's like the main character
Aw.
coming to terms with like her Korean American identity and all that. And I'm like, I don't really want to cry, so I've been putting off reading it.
Me too.
So I'm like, yeah, that sounds really sad. And like, I know my parents are getting older too, so I feel like if I read that book, I'd
Yeah.
be like, my heart would hurt. So that's why I haven't read it. That's why I haven't read it yet. But I
I
heard
know. I
that one
have
was
the
really
book
good.
too,
Oh, you have
but
it?
I have the
Oh,
book, but I just have not read it. I've been putting it off too.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to read that.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I think these days there's been a lot of Asian American representation in media. Well, not a lot. I take that back. Not a lot, but more than there has been
Yeah.
in the
It's definitely
past.
becoming more prevalent, which is really
Yeah.
cool to see. And like, I don't know,
Like
people need to get educated about.
like have you seen To All the Boys I've Loved before?
No, I've seen the book
Oh,
on
yeah, you read the book.
shelves.
Oh,
I didn't read the book. I
okay,
saw them
okay.
on shelves.
Yeah, but even like a rom-com like that has like an Asian, Asian American main character. I mean,
Yeah.
if that came out in like the 2000s, the main character would definitely be white. But even like shows that are not centralized, on the Asian American experience, even just like random like rom-com shows or shows about completely different things, the fact that like they even have like an Asian American main character, not a side character but a main character, is like really amazing compared to 15-20 years ago.
There's this TV show that's like the Korean Kim's Convenience. Have you seen that?
I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah, that one's really cute.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's cool to see like a sitcom style TV show that's originally, at least in the United States media, that like now it's done with an Asian family. I think that's like,
Yeah, I agree.
watching it, I was like in awe because I was so
Yeah.
amazed that it's happening. It's actually happening.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It like just seeing representation like just feels so good. Like you
Yes.
always want to see that. Well, I guess like going on the opposite side of feeling good and seeing representation, completely flipping it over. What is like some like racism that you've experienced in the past? I guess that also ties into representation, right? The fact that we don't have representation, and we
Yeah.
only used to have racist representation, back in the
Yeah.
day. So kind of ties together with that topic.
Yeah, I think what I said in the beginning, when kids would just like
Mm-hmm.
say ching chong to me or like make their eyes squint.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I think that's like the majority of like
Yeah.
the racism I
Have you gotten like
experienced.
the "Where are you from"? That's a.
No, see, and I've never really encountered that.
Hmm.
I've gotten what are you?
Okay. Yeah.
Like what are you?
Yeah.
Because usually I'm kind of confusing to other people where they're like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't really get the where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think it mostly has to do with the fact that people just assume my race
Yeah.
when it's completely
Mexican.
not at all me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's racism or if that's I don't
Just
know.
like,
I don't know.
yeah, assumptions.
Yeah, I think I get mostly assumptions. I think because people are confused by me, I mostly get issues with being a woman
Mm-hmm.
versus for my race
I
because
see.
no one knows my race. Mostly.
But they know you're a
Mostly.
woman, so they're like, okay, let's go for that instead.
Yeah, like that's the I
Yeah.
think I get so much more discrimination or it's just more in my face maybe of being a woman rather than being half
Oh,
Asian,
interesting.
half
I'm
white.
like the exact opposite. Like, I don't think I've encountered much discrimination for being a woman, but I have for being Asian.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten the "Where are you from?" Not even from peers, but from like people like that are
Strangers.
supposed to be like respected, like people like in
Oh,
authority, like teachers, for
yeah.
example, like people you're supposed to
Oh,
like look up to, you know, like
yeah.
people in positions of power and authority. Like I remember one time in middle school, I had a substitute teacher, and he was like he literally like we were just working on whatever assignment. He literally came over to me like out of nowhere, like nothing prompted this. He was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, and I said the state that I was born in, the
Yeah.
U.S. state I was born in, and he was like, he laughed, and he was like, and like my friends around me also laughed, and my friends were like, "Oh no, he means like where your parents are from."
Not them.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
I'm sure everyone's white in this scenario.
Yeah,
I'm just
yes,
assuming that.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone is
Whereas
white in
like
this situation. Yeah, I only had
white
white. Yeah, I
splaining.
only had white friends growing up. Yeah, they're a white splaining.
White splaining.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of my friends were like, no. They're like laughing at me. They're like, no, he means like where your parents are from. Like, duh. And I was like,
What?
yeah, and I was like, oh, well, my parents are from Taiwan, and he's like, oh yeah, like that's what I meant, but like, and like my friends were
Then
like,
just ask that.
yeah, exactly, and my friends were like, oh my gosh, like they didn't say this, but they're acting that way, like, oh my gosh, like you're so dumb, like why didn't like that's obviously what he meant, like I'm like, ugh. Anyway,
Aww.
and then I've also gotten like oh my gosh, like you speak Chinese, that's so cool. And I feel like I don't know if this one's like racism, but I don't know, like I'm sure they mean it with like, no ill
Like
intent.
genuine awe.
Yeah, like wow, that's so cool you speak Chinese. I don't know. I
I
don't
say
know.
that
It just
too.
felt yeah, but it's not like it's like, oh my gosh, like you speak Chinese? Wow. Like I don't know. I don't know. It felt off the
Is it
like when you say it doesn't feel like I don't know.
no,
It
like
just felt it was
there's
like
a
in middle
hidden
school. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like wow, like some like a very like different. Like wow, that's so like kind of like weird
Oh,
/ different, you
you're
know?
othered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very like
Yeah.
othering vibe to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had the Go Back to China. That's a classic.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten that
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even though my family, is from Taiwan. um,
So, yeah, I'm not even
not
from
China.
China.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my grandparents are from China, but my parents are from Taiwan, so I can't go back to China. I have no relatives there. Um, and I think my mom has gotten a lot of racism.
Yeah.
During COVID, so that was a big one for racism. That was a
Yes.
2020 was a big year for racism. Which is kind of
Yes.
wild because like it was
For Asian people
yeah.
too. Yeah.
like pretty recently, you know.
Yes.
I guess it was 5 years ago, but it feels recent in my mind. I remember during COVID. So like I said earlier, my mom's a Chinese teacher in high school, but she also teaches Chinese at a middle school. Cause basically, like I said, I grew up in a very white town, small white town, so there's no Chinese people. So my mom is like the only Chinese, teacher available in like the entire county. So they make her like go back and forth between the middle school and the high school because she's the only person who can teach Chinese. But like all her students were like very like middle school students were very like mean to her during the COVID era. Like a lot of them, I remember my mom like had a really hard time because she was telling me like that her students would say a bunch of like racist, like discriminatory things to her. They'd be like, oh, like we don't want to be near you, we might catch COVID, or like,
Oh my god.
yeah, like stuff like that, or like, oh, why did you bring COVID to the United States, or like they're like, oh, we don't want to be in your class anymore, we don't want to get COVID, like stuff like that. I was just like,
That's wild.
yeah. I feel like COVID was a very bad time, especially for like Asian people. I remember my friend, one of my closest friends, she's Vietnamese, and people are like threw rocks at her grandma like during like this like old Viet woman because of like during COVID, like it was like March or April 2020.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And my mom still faces a lot of racism, especially from like middle school students. I don't know what it is about middle school because she doesn't get any from her high school students, but I feel like maybe middle school students are just like not mature enough or something, But especially like these days, like I don't know, they're like really bad. But like there are words in Chinese that kind of sound like the N word. So that, like THAT in Chinese is 那个. So people would be like, whenever my mom says that in Chinese, she'd be like, oh, like 那个, and then people would be like, oh my gosh, you're saying the N word, I'm gonna report you to the principal. And my mom's like,
Oh
no,
my god.
yeah, like I'm not saying the N word, I'm just saying that in Chinese, and I have to teach you how to say, that, but people would say stuff like that, so yeah. I feel like kids, I don't know, kids these days.
Yeah, it's kids.
Yeah. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, like, we don't want to be here. They'd be like, go back to China to my mom, So,
Dang.
yeah, I don't know.
That's a lot of discrimination. Yeah, I mean, kids just be wild and right now.
Yeah. And then speaking of like stereotypes and stuff, I also want to talk about like the modern minority myth, which is basically so the modern minority myth basically pits like people of color against one another, and it creates like an hierarchy of like where Asian people are often like represented at the top. Because I know a lot of people like are like, oh my gosh, like you're so lucky to be Asian because Asians are so smart, Asians are so talented, Asians are so like they excel at everything, but it also like pits like that idea in of itself is inherently bad because it pits people of color against each other, whereas people of color are supposed to all unite and stand up with each other. But the model minority myth is basically like the Asians are like the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, the musical geniuses, like maybe like the violinist, the pianist, But and by Asians I mean white looking East Asians, but like the darker skinned people are the janitors, they're like the custodians, they're the street workers, so that's very harmful amongst like people of color, and it like really perpetuates like a lot of anti-blackness, even among like the Asian community itself, because I know like the Asian community is like inherently more discriminatory towards people of darker skin.
There's a lot of colorism.
Yeah, a lot of colorism, especially in Asia, for sure. Like I know people like look down on other Asians if they have darker skin as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so all that is like pretty bad.
Yeah.
But like the model minority myth and how like Asians, like whiter skinned, East Asians are expected to do like the best in school. You have to work harder, be better than everyone else, but it's also like not just like obviously it's bad for like the other like other people of color, but it's also but people are like, but it's not bad for Asians because it's good to be like, the best, you know, person of color, I guess. But it's also bad, not just that it pits people against one another, but also because, like if you are consistently viewed as being the best in everything, like that's really bad for your mental health. Like if you like don't know how to do something, like people won't, like if you like struggle in math, for example, people won't offer you extra help or support because if they're, fueled by the model minority myth, then they're like, oh, you should already be good at math. You don't need the help or support, right?
There's already that
the
assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why mental health is so bad in Asian culture. That's why people like don't believe in mental health a lot in Asian cultures because they're like, oh, you should already know how to do it,
Right. There's already a set precedent for the way that they should or what they should know or how they should do things or be good at things. And that ends up like there's always in every race, humans in general, there's always going to be someone who just naturally is really good at something. And then there's going to be people who aren't as good at that same thing.
Yeah.
And that's just a natural occurrence in humanity.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Asian culture is so hard on like, being the best. You have to be a doctor. Mental health is fake, So I was wondering if you had any experience or like, experience with that.
Definitely with school.
Yeah.
I think at least on my mom's side. So on the Filipino side, like I would get a lot of shit if I had an A minus.
Oh, yeah,
She's like, why is the minus there?
Yeah.
Why is that there?
Yeah.
It's like I'm sitting in the back of the car crying after we had our progress report with my teacher, and she's just like, well, why is the minus there? Yeah, like where she's like going ham on like you should not have a minus. You should know these things. Da 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 da. Anyways, so I experienced that a lot on my mom's side, but on my white side, my dad's side, like it's giving C's get degrees. Like just just pass. Okay?
Yeah.
I just pass. So I kind of had both experiences.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mostly had experiences with my dad, so it didn't feel as heavy on me. But definitely with Filipinos, like a lot of people know Filipinos are they could be good at singing, dancing, or they excel in those areas, but not everybody excels in that area. I do love karaoke, but I'm definitely no like professional singer. But yeah, so I think that's like I had both worlds of like feeling the pressures of being academically inclined and then like having a release of pressure at the same time.
Yeah.
And people would make comments like, aren't you supposed to be good at math to me?
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of like, I don't know, high school BS.
I know. Okay, I think my mom still wants me to be a doctor. Like, I think like when I was like job
my mom
like,
too.
Yeah, when I was job searching, like after I graduated from college, I was like unemployed for a while. And then my mom was like, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to go back to school to like be a doctor? Like maybe you could go to grad."
My mom says the same.
Like maybe you could go to grad school and study like, medical stuff. And I'm like, "No, if I wanted to be a doctor, I would have to go back and redo my bachelor's degree because you have to take all of the science classes and health classes or whatever. Like you can't just go to grad school and you can't just go to med school like that. You have to have a pre-med degree and a bachelor's first. So my mom doesn't get it, but I'm sure. And then like all my cousins are like doctors and like PAs, and they're in the health industry, and my mom is, she probably still wishes that I would be a doctor even to this day, even though I have a job. But
it's so funny because I don't know, the equivalent to that for Filipinos is nursing. So like
yeah, I see.
my mom really wants me to be a nurse still to this day. She's like,
Yeah.
well, why don't you try going back to nursing? Because originally
Yeah.
that's what my degree was for.
Oh, interesting.
So originally I was going to be into nursing, but I'm an artsy girl. I can't.
I know, same,
And so,
same. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
good. And it
my
honestly makes
mom,
me... Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was going to say, my mom has like accepted it, but at the same time, like whenever I go through my moments of like, what am I doing with my life
Yeah.
kind of feelings, she's like, I'll help you get your master's degree if you want to go into nursing, or
Yeah.
get a job that's like more stable or something. Then
You're
I'm
like, no,
like,
I'm good.
all right, hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me wonder how many like Asian Americans like are like currently doctors or lawyers or engineers, but they don't want to do it. They've just been like pressured by their parents,
Yes.
which is probably a lot. Maybe like 50%,
yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like the model minority myth is also like perpetuated from like family and like culture traditions as well. Like you just have to work hard. It's also like very cultural, you have to work hard to be better than everyone else. You have to do the best in school, and because that's just like what Asians are, like you're better than everyone else. And it's pretty bad because very stereotypical, because it also like erases like the differences amongst individuals, and like it groups everyone as like, oh, if you're Asian you have to be this, you have to do this, and it also like ignores like the diversities of like different Asian American cultures, and it also erases racism against Asian Americans as well.
Yeah, I don't like how the whole like making things competitive with people of color.
Yeah,
is
like we
wild
should
to
all
me.
like stand
what?
against each other,
No.
like
Yeah.
and I know like other people like of color who like discriminate against other people of color. So I'm just like, why would you do that? We all should stand together because we all experience racism and discrimination and prejudices. Like we shouldn't go against each other. That's not the point of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this isn't necessarily model minority, but this is kind of tying into when we're talking about like how you should look when you work colorism and stuff like that. I actually wrote a paper on Asian beauty standards, and at the time I went to the Philippines and was like looking at their advertisements and stuff like that to kind of like get to know like in person how do they advertise people in the Philippines, and most of the people literally looked like me, and like it's very much giving, they want like a westernized version of a Filipino, very light skinned, very European nose, but like everything else is Filipino. And like even at the stores that I would go to, like it's very common to see whitening lotion. So like whenever I'm like walking around, even the last time that I went, like you can tell who's using whitening lotion, and it's not like a natural, like it grays out your face. So it makes like, if you're like a darker skin tone, like it grays it out, makes it kind of white, as if you have like when you put sunscreen on and you still have like leftover white, what do you call that?
Yeah, residue?
There's a word. Yeah, there's like a residue, but I know there's a term for that.
Oh,
when there's like the leftover white sunscreen on your face.
It's like when I put on my CeraVe sunscreen.
Yeah, I remember Popcorn saying that about you.
Yeah.
You still have
So
sunscreen
for context for viewers, like I used to use is it CeraVe sunscreen, and CeraVe. Yeah, I don't know what was it about the sunscreen, but it just like stayed on my face and didn't like go away or anything, or so I just looked like I was white facing because it just made my face so white when I used it. And I stopped using it now, but it was really bad.
Yeah, well, there's like whitening lotions where it makes
Yeah.
your face like much more
Mhm.
whiter. But when you have darker skin, it just
Mhm.
looks off-putting because
Yeah, yeah.
you're literally like just like scraping that
Mhm.
skin off essentially. And I grew up with like whitening lotions, not even fully realizing what it does
Mhm.
to your skin. So just seeing that readily available everywhere at every store, and then seeing the
Mm.
people that they advertise on like big buildings or just even in clothing stores, they're all people who don't look like the people who are literally walking around the street.
Mm.
And like,
Mhm.
yeah, and it's blatant colorism because
Yeah.
nobody advertised is dark skinned at all. At all.
Mhm.
Like they all have very fair skin.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to bring that point up because I thought that was very interesting when I was like fully realizing like, oh, the beauty standards in
Mhm.
primarily the Philippines, but I think it's similar in Asia, across Asia,
Mhm.
where it's
Yeah.
like the
Oh yeah,
fairness of
for
your
sure.
skin and yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah.
just like flat
Mhm.
like having a flat nose like I've
Mhm.
talked to people in the past who are Filipino and like their parents would literally just
Mhm.
like squeeze their nose to try to make it
Oh
like
yeah,
skinnier.
my mom did that. Like
Okay, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
did that. I did that like every day growing up. I was squeezing my nose to make it taller.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard that from other in the other
Mhm.
people in the past who are Filipino where they also have a flat
Yeah.
nose,
No,
but it's
yeah,
like
that's a common thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, my nose is still pretty flat, so I don't think it worked. And I think it's also important to know that, like, because a lot of people think Asia, they think like light skinned, like Korean, Japanese, Chinese, but Asia is so much more. Like, Indians are Asian, like
Yeah.
Pakistanians are Asian. Like, when people
Yep.
think Asia, they usually think East Asia, but all of the Middle East is also Asia, and I think people
Exactly.
forget that sometimes. And
Yeah.
people in like South Asia, like Malaysia, like they're also Asian, like Indonesia, like they're also Asian. That's also Asian. But when people think
Hmm.
Asia, I think they mostly think East Asia.
Yep.
They don't think like Middle East or South Asia. So that's
Yeah,
also an
exactly.
important note, and that might be because of like the colorism too that pervades a lot of those countries with darker skinned people.
Yeah.
That's why they all want to be more like those East Asian countries.
Yeah, exactly. I think like even um this really old movie, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, like that movie, well, first it was even revolutionary for it to be happening in the first place, but it stars, I think he's Indian. His name is Cal Penn. I just want to make sure that I'm getting this true that he's Indian.
Okay.
He looks like he is, but I don't want to assume.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he's Asian American, and he's also co-starring with another guy who appears East Asian, and it's just like that was a movie that came out in the early 2000s, I believe, which was like out of this world. You would never see someone, especially who's Indian, on a as a lead for a movie. And I was watching this podcast of he's a comedian who's also Indian. Anyways, he was on a podcast and he was saying how it's when he saw the billboard advertising that same movie, that's when he realized like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. Like if he I'm seeing this in
Yeah.
front of me right now.
Representation once more.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it was just it's just interesting like
Yeah.
it took from to the early 2000s for that to actually be not even a regular occurrence because it's not very widely happening, but it's still it's happening more so now. But yeah, especially Monkey Man. Monkey Man's another film that's like really highlights like Indian representation in general. Like people are speaking I'm so ignorant, but I do not know what the term is for that language
Oh, for India?
for people in India. Yeah.
Is it Hindi?
Is there is it
I think it's
India language?
is it I think it's Hindi.
Hindi.
Yeah.
Hindi, yes. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the primary language they spoke because it kind of seems like they have many different languages. But yeah, Monkey Man, they're speaking, I'm assuming Hindi, and it's like pretty much majority of the cast that's speaking it, and it's really cool
Nice.
to even just see something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I always recommend like watching like foreign films, like not just like
Yes.
American films with foreign people in it and cultures, but like actual like Indian films and stuff like that.
I want to
like,
explore that.
Really, yeah, me too. I definitely want to explore more of other foreign films and stuff. I've been watching some like Thai shows lately, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, like going back to the model minority myth, like all that you just said.
Sorry, my bad.
No, I'm trying to tie it together. So the model minority myth like ignores the diversity of those Asian American cultures. Because if you're like Indian American and then you hear that, oh, Asians are the best, Asians excel, like Asians are always expected to, work harder, be better, get paid more,
very successful
Yeah,
people,
exactly. Yeah. But they're not talking about darker skinned Asian people, because for example, so I'm reading this article right now, so like pay disparities, right? So usually like for every dollar the average white man makes, an Asian Indian woman would make like $1.21. Like a Taiwanese woman would make like $1.16. So they usually make like higher. But a Samoanian woman would make 60 cents for every dollar that a white man makes. A Burmese woman makes like 50 cents. So the experiences, so like even with like pay disparities and like how people view each other, the experiences of different Asian American groups are not the same. Like a experience of a Burmese American versus like a Chinese American would not be the same. So that model minority myth, hurts other Asian Americans as well.
Yeah.
And it also operates, like you said earlier, about like colorism and how people look down on others for being darker skinned. So there's this other stereotype called the forever foreign stereotype, or like the perpetual foreigner stereotype, which also kind of like works alongside the model minority myth, like a double-edged, like not a double-edged sword, just kind of like a parallel stereotype, where people view Asian cultures and Asian people as exotic, and even if you've lived in the America, in the U.S. for like your entire life, even if you're like your parents, your parents' parents, your parents' parents' parents, like your entire family and ancestors are from America. If you're Asian, people are going to think you're a foreigner. So that's like the forever foreign stereotype. And that also
I literally sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that also affects like colorism as well. Because I feel like people who are whiter skinned and people who are like get that bit less versus people who are like darker skinned as well. But I think this hurts every person of color, and these stereotypes affect every person of color. So I think I like it's very bad that these stereotypes created maybe by people who aren't of color are pitting people of color against each other. So that's pretty bad. So what were you saying?
I kind of forgot. A friend of mine who is also Asian American, and like I think she was born from immigrants. Her family's Vietnamese,
Mm-hmm.
And she was sharing with me literally like not too long ago that a man came up to her and asked her where she's from.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's like, explains like here. And then they made a comment like saying that she looks exotic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I haven't heard that term for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing it
Yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
I
Like
have
the
heard,
other ring is intense.
yes. And
Mm-hmm.
like I have heard being I've been called oriental or orient
Yeah. Yeah. Not
before.
not a good word either in that aspect.
Yeah. I've actually been called that by my own father.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the word oriental is like one of those words that didn't used to have a negative connotation, but because of how people use it,
Yeah.
now it has a negative connotation.
Yeah, it's like I get the reasoning as to why he says it. It
Mm.
just it feels weird as a grown adult now where I'm kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no one says that anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird
Yeah.
to say that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get with the times.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
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 And like yeah, and like I think it also like going back to like movies and stuff, like
Hmm.
the stereotypes are like people are like, if you're an Asian man, then you're like, kung fu. you know like, but if you're a
Yeah.
woman, then you're like a submissive, person only viewed for sexual desires, um
Yes.
so I feel like that perspective, or like that stereotype, was very prevalent in media back in the day, which
Yeah.
also is the forever foreign stereotype. And like both the forever foreign stereotype and the model minority myth are also bad, because they treat a model minority myth in particular, like it treats Asian Americans as like the best of the crop, right? But it also ignores, the discrimination and prejudice that Asian Americans face. For example, like there's the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882,
Hmm.
where all Chinese immigrants were not allowed to come to the U.S. basically. So very racist. Or like
Hmm.
the Japanese internment in the 1940s
Yeah.
after World War II. So the model minority myth suggests that the U.S. has always been like an amazing place for Asian Americans, but it
Yeah.
really hasn't, because there's so much
Yeah.
racism here.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
model minority myth and the forever foreign stereotype are very harmful to the struggle for like racial justice for all Asian Americans. Yeah, and I think speaking of that, I also want to talk about like the hyphenated American.
Yes. This is something that I am new to. I haven't
Yeah,
researched
so
this.
I
So,
actually learned this when I was part of like my Asian American organization in college, and I didn't
mhm.
know that before. So people have been trying, like they used to write like Asian hyphen American,
Yes.
but recently we have been trying to move away from the hyphen, in a sense, because hold on, let me. Oh, we have been trying to move away from the hyphen, and there's been this trend going on that's like drop the hyphen,
Mhm.
because the hyphen essentially is like saying you are, for example, let me use the word like Chinese American. So it's essentially saying you are like Chinese and American, so it's giving equal weight to both words.
Hmm.
But if you delete the hyphen, then Chinese is like an adjective for American. So it shows that you are like Chinese American without the hyphen is like a type of American, if that makes sense. Whereas Chinese hyphen
Oh.
American, the hyphen makes it seem like each word is a noun, and it gives each word equal weight so that you're like either one or the other. But without the hyphen, Chinese becomes an adjective to American, saying that you're a type of American. So Chinese is an adjective and American is a noun. So you're just a type of American. You're just one whole instead of Chinese hyphen American, where you're two different things, essentially.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so
I never knew that.
Yeah, so that's why people have been doing the drop the hyphen movement, essentially. They're saying like the hyphens actually serve to divide us, even if they are meant to connect. So the hyphen creates a sense that people of color are not truly full American citizens because they're one or the other. And it connotates a sense of like otherness with the hyphen.
Wow.
So without the hyphen, it makes it seem like you're just one identity. That's why the movement of drop the hyphen has been going these days. I actually learned that in college as well. So I've been trying to, tell people like, oh, you actually shouldn't use the hyphen and all that. And I think I was at the AP. Yeah, the AP Press, Associated Press. The New York Times and whatnot. I think in 2021, they've dropped the hyphen in all their articles about like Asian American and all that. AP in 2019 had a decision like talking about drop the hyphen and all that. And it's just an example of how our society and language have been continuously evolving.
Which is a natural progression of humanity.
Yes,
like
exactly.
That's been a forever thing. We've had that forever.
Yeah,
so when people get kind of like weirded out when things are changing, it's like this has been a natural occurrence to humans.
Yeah,
where language changes, the meanings change.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know about that till college either. So I'm glad I learned about it.
This is the first time hearing of it, so I'm glad you said something.
Yeah, for sure. And I just like how they said the hyphens serve to divide, even though they are meant to connect. So I was like, wow. That's pretty.
That is a good way to put it.
Yeah, symbolic.
Yeah.
So everyone, for all the viewers, in the future, don't use the hyphen.
Yes.
That's for not just Asian Americans, but anyone who is a person of color and, American.
Right. I literally, when you showed me that article, I like went into my Discord and changed it.
Nice.
And made my title, because then I realized like, oh my gosh, I've been naturally just typing that.
Yeah. And like again, like it's good to continuously learning and be raising awareness in both yourself and others, like just being able to dismantle like these stereotypes and prejudice and all that. Like that's what advocacy is all about. So yeah, that's really awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
And being able to share that with other people too, which we can do as content creators.
Yeah.
So it's a nice position that we're in, even though we're not like, Pokemon, like huge content creators. I think being able to, impact even just a little, like a bit, even just a few people is really meaningful and impactful, which we also talked about in the content creation episode. So check it out if you haven't watched / listened to it yet.
And then we also mentioned it in the first episode. So
we did.
Why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah. Going back to Asian American culture, what are some like family dynamics or like culture values or traditions that you do in like in an Asian American household or by yourself that I guess you don't see Caucasian people doing?
Yeah, definitely the shoes off in the house.
Yeah.
So
like I also don't understand why people like Caucasian people don't take their shoes out. Like I honestly don't get it at all.
Dude.
It's just cleanliness. Dude, like it's just being clean.
Listen.
I don't get it.
As someone who's grew up in a white household, and then I've also grew up in a more Asian household. Like I have grown up with people who actually wear shoes in the house. And like personally for me, like I knew when I would move out, I
Uh-huh.
would not be implementing that. I would be
Mm.
doing it in the way of I have a specific area dedicated for my shoes.
Yeah.
And like I will not be wearing it in the house whatsoever. I have slippers dedicated to my home. And
Mm-hmm.
especially like I don't like feeling the cold tile on my
That's what I
feet.
do. I wear
So
slippers.
yeah, I wear slippers throughout my house. Um, and it's very, and especially like wearing shoes in bed, dude.
Oh,
I've seen
no.
that. Yeah, no, I've seen that,
Oh
and
my
that is just
gosh.
absolutely foul.
Dude, I don't even like to like sit in my bed in my outside clothes.
Me
Like
neither.
I refuse to even just sit, not lay, like even sit in my bed with my
Yeah.
jeans on. I'm like, if I'm gonna touch my bed, I need to be in my pajamas or like clothes that haven't touched the outside air.
Yeah, yeah, same here. I'm the same. And yeah, typically I don't wear my any outside clothes near my bed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's like one of the main ones.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like,
know
I feel like that
Christmas.
should be like something everyone does. I don't know. I just can't
No,
like
I
get
agree.
over like you're dragging dirt into your house. Like,
I mean,
like,
dirties the carpet even more too if you have carpet in
yeah,
your
like I don't
house. Like,
understand. Like, and I
yeah,
see people like
it's
making like these gadgets, like, oh, like you can like put your step into these things that put like a plastic wrap over your shoes so it doesn't track dirt over your house. And I'm like, just take your shoes off. It's not that
just
hard.
yeah,
It's not that hard. I don't understand. Like
yeah.
walk around with socks. I don't know. Like it's not that hard.
Literally, yeah, even if I'm like not even at my house, I will
Yeah.
still do it. I
Yeah, no, I
usually
do it at
just
every house I go to. Like I've been
yeah.
over to like white people's houses and they all keep their shoes on, but I just take my shoes off because it just feels wrong to me. Like I can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like
I
I'm
mean
like I'm sorry.
even when I'm like on like one time I was on set and like about to
Mhm.
film something that's in a
Yeah.
bedroom setting
Oh yeah, yeah,
and like they want me to go on this like blanket fort
yeah.
thing and I was wearing boots and I was like, can I just take off my shoes? Like this feels so wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like
my
this feels
gosh.
and it's like props. Like it's not like something that someone
Yeah.
sleeps in, but it's
Mhm.
still like I still feel off about wearing boots on like a comfy
Yeah.
bedroom
No, I
set.
agree. That's wild. People lay in bed with their shoes on. Like I don't get it. You like sleeping with dirt? Like I
I
honestly
don't
don't
get that
get it.
either.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
I don't get it either. I like personally for me, even if I'm going to like an Airbnb, I'll keep my shoes in like a dedicated
Mhm.
area and it's usually by the door. So it's like easy
Yeah. Yeah.
accessibility, but also just like my personal preference.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, another one we've talked about this, but like waiting for other people to also eat. So
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
like if I'm with friends, this doesn't really apply to my my dad's side. Like people don't
Mhm.
really wait. But personally, I like to wait
Mhm.
to get everybody to eat together. Let's see what else.
Yeah, I do that too.
Um,
I remember like I
yeah.
would go out to lunch with my coworkers. In the past when I used to work at a physical office, and then they would just like start eating whenever we got our food, and I'd be like, oh my god, like I don't know, it's just wild. Like I would always wait for everyone to get their food first before I start eating. And I
Yeah.
guess it's just like an Asian culture thing, but I don't know, like people just start eating before everyone else gets their food. Like immediately when they get their food, just munch, munch, munch. And I'm like, wow, interesting. And you know what? Maybe that's also
Yeah.
because of the collectivism versus like individualism
Oh,
like
yeah.
aspect where like
I
Asian
think so.
cultures are more family oriented, like more social oriented where like they have bigger like value and respect to peers and family, but Americans are more about like individualism and like you know going at it alone, working hard, getting all your goals, alone, the American dream. So maybe that is a side effect of it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and it could be. I think like sometimes for me it's like a reading the room scenario.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah.
like if someone says, no, go ahead and start eating, I'm gonna go and blah blah blah, whatever they're
Mhm.
doing. Then like in that case, I think I would start eating. But
Yeah.
like generally, like if I don't know what the vibe is, I'm gonna wait because like I want to eat with
Yeah.
everybody. But if everybody's like, no, 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 go ahead and eat, I'm gonna blah blah blah, then that's something different. Because that's even happened to me when I was eating with family in the Philippines, where like I was waiting, like some of my family members and I were waiting for everyone to get seated, but it was very much like, no, 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 please eat, eat. And in
Yeah.
that case, I think it was still about collectivism because we had my uncle who was like, you know, distributing the food and cooking the food for us, but he was still like, no, no, you guys can get started. I'm
Yeah.
getting my meal right now off the grill, kind of thing. Like what, you know, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I feel like in that case is when I would have like, okay, I'm gonna start eating then
Yeah. That
because
makes
we
sense.
all like agree to it. Yeah, I think Christmas is like a really big deal for Filipinos. So Christmas has always been like the main, you know, holiday at least where it really is getting everybody together and it's celebrated for a long period of time.
Are a lot of Filipinos Christian, or is it just
A lot of Filipinos are Catholic actually.
Catholic? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I have met Christian Filipinos before. Yeah. But I don't know, it's just like it's such a there's like this specific decor. It's like a circle and it has like a different type of star on it and it lights up. That's how you know it's a Filipino house. If you see that like on the window or something like that. But personally, like my mom loved to celebrate Christmas. And I think I had like best Christmases with her, but with my dad's side, it's kind of just like, all right, open presents, all right, bye, kind of vibe. So very different. Again, getting two sides of the coin here, where like one side is like, okay, open presents, okay, bye, and then the other side is like celebrating for months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that like one of the biggest like Filipino holidays, I guess you would say?
I don't know if it's Filipino, but
It's like
I just know Filipinos be loving
I see.
Christmas starting like August.
Oh,
honestly.
wow. I see.
Yeah,
That's
it
interesting.
starts early.
Because I feel like I never really celebrated Christmas. Like, I get like presents and stuff from my family and friends, but nothing big. Like, I haven't put up a Christmas tree in years.
Dang, no way.
Yeah, I don't really celebrate Christmas, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my like last year I went to go see my mom for Christmas, and like she loves that because you know she doesn't like live with all the kids and grandkids anymore, so she's far from us. So it's like the only time she really gets to celebrate is with everybody else, you know, because otherwise she's just kind of like putting up the tree for herself.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the biggest holiday in Chinese culture is definitely Chinese New Year. So like Lunar New Year. That's such a big like that's the holiday they celebrate for like months. Like they start celebrate like they have preparations for months and then they celebrate it for like at least 2 weeks. The last day of the festival is like the Lantern Festival, and then like it's the hugest biggest holiday. And then Mid-Autumn is also pretty big in Chinese country and Chinese speaking cultures. And then Dragon Boat Festival is the third biggest. It's actually coming up. It's May 31st this year. And all the holidays are on the lunar calendar too. So it's in the American, like the standard calendar, it's like different every year because it's based on the moon.
The standard calendar is Mayan, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Did I just come up with that?
I thought it was called the Gregorian calendar. Yeah, the Gregorian
I'm
calendar.
so funny for that.
What is the Mayan calendar?
I'm looking right now.
I think the Mayan calendar is very different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Mayan calendar.
Oh my god, it's really different.
Yeah.
It's 260 days.
Yeah, I think we are on the I'm pretty sure we're using the Gregorian calendar.
I'm so funny, guys. I tell jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, our holidays are based on the lunar calendar. So
Yeah.
it's different on the standard, like the Gregorian calendar, every year. So I always have to look up when like our holidays are because I'm like, oh, I don't know. But
Yeah.
you know what I wish? I wish that jobs give you like a cultural holiday off, because like I'm like I would prefer to have Chinese New Year off and not like Thanksgiving or Christmas, because I
Oh,
don't
that's
really
true,
celebrate
huh?
like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like I don't celebrate July 4th. You know, like I wish I could have
Yeah.
Chinese New Year off instead of July 4th. So I always have to feel sad when I have to work on like a big Chinese holiday, like Chinese New Year
Yeah.
or Mid Autumn. Like I'm like, like in Taiwan, you get like 2 weeks off for Chinese New Year. You know,
Yeah. I
um,
think it's the same for Vietnam.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like China, Vietnam, like Taiwan, like Korea, like people like countries that celebrate the Lunar New Year, they always get like many days off. Just because
Yeah.
it's like the biggest holiday of the year, and then
Yeah.
I always have to work on that day, and I even have
I know.
you know, never mind having 2 weeks off. I'm like, oh, I wish there's just like a free holiday for cultural holidays, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, wish that was a thing.
It's a really good point you bring up. I feel like that should be like a normal thing here.
Yeah.
That should be normalized.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
don't, personally, I don't even celebrate July 4th. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
kind of like, all
mean,
right.
I'm good.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, fireworks, cool. Yeah.
yeah, not a big fan.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wish there's like a culture holiday where like if
Yeah,
you are that culture or religion, you know, you can take that day off for free. But
right.
alas, nowadays they're
I
getting
know.
rid of like even more federal holidays like Juneteenth and stuff. But
Yeah, to have
that's a
that.
different podcast.
Yeah, that is definitely a different podcast. But I hear you. I get you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, washing dishes. Do we already talk about that?
We talked about that outside of the podcast.
Okay, yeah. But for the
Um,
viewers, yeah, like washing dishes versus a dishwasher. I know a lot of Asian families prefer to wash dishes and not use the dishwasher.
yeah.
So like for me, I've never used the dishwasher in my life before. I don't even know how to use it. I don't even know what buttons to press. It's just there. Like the dishwasher is a drying rack for me. It's not a tool I use to wash dishes. It's a tool for me to dry my dishes after I wash them.
Yeah. For me, I've also grew up with just washing
Uh-huh.
dishes. We didn't really
Yeah.
use the we would only use the dishwasher for like if we had a family party. Then that's when we would use it, but otherwise like we always did hand wash.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it's funny because people like wash dishes because it's supposedly like save more water, I think,
Yeah.
than like the dishwasher. But I'm pretty sure I waste more water hand washing it because dishwashers are so like water efficient these days.
Yeah.
And I use so much water washing my dishes by hand. So I feel like I'm wasting even more water. Um, but yeah, I don't know how to use a dishwasher. I've never used a dishwasher in my entire life before.
Never?
Yeah, never. So I remember like one time we had like a bunch of people come over to our house, and there was like 500 plates. I took like 2 hours just washing everything by hand.
No
Yeah,
way.
because I don't know how to use a dishwasher, and we don't like have any dishwasher soap or whatever.
Oh,
What is
that's
it
true,
called?
huh?
Whatever. Like I don't have any of that in our house
Dishwash
because
soap?
dishwash soap. I don't know. I don't have any of that because it's our drying rack. You know. I literally don't know how to use a dishwasher.
Yeah, I personally I think I would now use a dishwasher if I had one. Um Usually I could figure it out. Like, it's not my strong suit either. I'm not just like I didn't use it often, so I don't really know, but I could figure out how to turn it on.
Yeah.
Um, but like, yeah, I've just grown up washing dishes than ever using a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes it would be used for storing
Yeah.
storing dishes
Oh yeah.
than
Yeah,
to
I mean
be
I use it
used
as
to
a
be
drying
used
rack.
as a
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I literally use it as a drying rack, so like sometimes it's dry and I just leave it in there. So sometimes when I like need a plate or a fork, I just get it from the dishwasher.
Nice. Yeah.
um yeah, also I just remembered while we were talking, I just remembered something else that was racist ish that happened
Oh
to me.
yeah.
So
Share.
I once had a coworker that was talking about how you know how a lot of like Asian skincare products use like snail mucus,
Yeah.
or like snail mucin.
Yeah.
But one of my coworkers was talking about like, oh my gosh, like you know some people like use snail mucus in skincare and put it on your face. Like she was talking about it in a very like disgusted manner. Like she was like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally mucus from snails. That is so disgusting. That's so gross. And people actually put that on their faces. And like they're just like complaining about it and making a whole big deal over it. And I didn't say anything at the time, but in my head I was like, wait, I use that every day. But now thinking back, I'm like,
Yeah.
I should have said something and see, you know, how she would react. But I was like, wow. And she
I
was
feel like I've heard
white.
that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just like weird things, and but it's not even it's weird to them, but it's not weird to me because like I use snail mucus in like literally everything. Like I use it every night, every day.
Yeah, it's not
like it's
weird.
common. Yeah. But maybe for Caucasian people it sounds weird, like mucus from snail, you put that on your face, you know.
It's just like it's such an odd thing to point
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
me
And I
'cause
don't even know how the
it's not
conversation
that
was brought
far
up.
off.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't sound bad as she's making it. So for me, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, I don't. Is the disgust in the room? Because
Yeah,
you're
I
the
don't
only
know,
one that's
but
feeling
like
it. I don't feel
everyone,
it.
and then she was like talking about this to like 8 people, like our entire department basically. Which keep in
Oh,
mind we're all
whoa.
white, and everyone's like agreeing with her, and they're like, "Wow, that's so gross! Like,
Oh
how do
my
people do that?"
God, that's
And
wild.
the only Asian person there, I was just sitting there like I didn't say anything, but in my head I was like, "Yeah, I use that every day."
Oh
um,
my
yeah, and
God.
then like it was terrible because like I went home and I was like in my head I was like, oh, should I stop using it now? And then I hate that I even like thought about that. You know, I'm like, should
Oh,
I stop using my snail mucus essence? You know, I'm like,
no.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's weird that I use it too. I mean, but looking
Oh.
back, like I'm like I can't believe like they made me think that. I don't know. Um,
No,
and
that's
yeah,
it's
and like
valid that you felt that way, but yeah.
oh, and I just remember something else too.
Yeah.
Have you ever brought like Asian food to like lunch in school and
I
like
was literally
people
going to mention
yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, people make fun of
Yeah.
you for that.
Well, people, because, okay, Filipino food is not the most, like,
Uh-huh.
beautiful food ever.
Mhm.
At least by American standards, I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know. But, like if you see Filipino food, it's gonna look horrifying, but it tastes so damn good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not everything, of course, is not gonna look horrifying, but that's how people who are not used to the food,
Yeah, yeah.
um, primarily white people, honestly, that
Yeah.
if they don't it just
Yeah.
looks weird to them, they're like, "No,
Yeah.
and I'm not touching that," whatever
Mhm.
that is. And, like, yeah, I grew up with white people, so literally when my mom would bring Filipino food, they would be like, "The hell is that?" Like, they would already be,
Mhm.
like, disgusted at it, and it was just like it's so insulting, especially considering Filipino food is such a, like, cultural way of bringing everyone together, and it's like a way of giving and
Yeah. No,
sharing.
yeah. In Chinese culture too, like food is such a
Yeah.
big part of family and culture.
Yeah.
But
And
for
so the fact
Caucasian
that
people
people
to
are like,
mock it, yeah,
"What is
out of their
that?"
own like ignorant, you know, whatever, like
It's the big reaction for
discrimination.
me
Yeah.
that's, like, unnecessary. It's okay if you don't
Mhm.
like it.
Yeah.
If you don't want it,
Mhm.
that's fine. But,
But
like,
don't be like, ew, what is that?
why you gotta be like,
Yeah.
"Oh god, what is that?" Like, I
Yeah.
have literally I've witnessed okay, this is not Filipino food, but this is still,
Uh-huh.
like, durian is, like, an Asian fruit,
Oh yes,
primarily
yes, yes,
in like
yes.
Vietnam. Like
Yes.
people who are from Vietnam
Mhm.
typically eat durian. And durian like has quite a smell.
Mhm.
And one time like I had coworkers who were from Vietnam and like they were, having durian and like trying to share it with others and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, yeah, I'll give it a try." So I was trying it and like it wasn't my favorite, but I'm not here
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
There was this one guy though who like immediately when she opened it, cuz it has a very distinct potent
Mhm.
smell.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you're not used to it, it can smell kind of foul. But like he just like went all out on his reaction of like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god." Like I was just kind of like, "Dude, that's messed up, bro."
When was
That's
this?
messed
Like in
up.
school?
No, this was a coworker
Oh,
I
okay. So
had from my
adults.
last job. This is
Oh,
full on
okay.
adults, older than me. Older
Yeah.
than me, like in their 40s, just like and like mind you, this man wasn't white, but he wasn't
Mhm.
Asian. He was black.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
he was just making such a loud like disgust towards it where I was kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, it's getting fucked
Like
up now.
chill
Like
out.
that's
Like
just getting fucked
chill.
up now.
Like just chill out. Yeah, I
This
can't
person's
believe.
sharing
Yeah.
a part of their culture, dude.
Like chill out. That's so offensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
the woman who was so disgusted at the snail mucus is like in her 40s and 50s too. So they're all adults.
Yeah, it's
I'm
typically
like, yeah.
older people.
Yeah, but I remember in school, I think I mean, I mostly got school lunches, but sometimes my mom would pack me lunch and she packed like xiaolongbao, which is like soup dumplings.
I
Yeah.
love. That's how you say it?
Yeah.
I've been saying
Yeah.
it wrong this
Yeah,
whole time.
xiaolongbao. So yeah, soup
Can I tell you
dumplings.
how I've been pronouncing it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, wait. How
I
do you
might I
how do you
might
say it?
laugh. Xiaolongbao.
I've been saying Zhao Long Bao.
Okay. That's not that far off. It's like
But you say
xiao
xiao.
xiao. Yeah, xiao.
Xiao.
More
Xiao.
of like a S sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Xiaolongbao. Yeah.
Xiao.
Yeah.
Okay, whenever I see the X, I've been saying Zhao,
Oh,
but
it's a
it's
S.
Xiao.
It's a set. The X makes a S sound.
It's Xiao.
Yeah. 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 Perfect. Perfect.
Thanks.
Like XI is usually like C.
XI.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
usually
C.
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 Yeah. So just think of the X as an S.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll know that for next time.
Yeah.
I saw it at
Yeah.
I tried that at Din Tai Fung.
Oh.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, I
I
went there in
love Din
Taiwan. It
Tai
was so
Fung.
good. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We went to the original Ding Tai Fung in Taiwan. Like the first ever Ding Tai Fung. It was so good. Oh my gosh. The xiaolong
Yeah.
bao, chef's kiss.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Sorry.
So my mama packed me like xiaolong bao and like bao, like baozi, like the bao. And I just like very like Chinese stuff. People would be like, "What is that?" Even though I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's not that uncommon. But again, growing up in a very small white town, they're eating like what freaking pizza and hot dogs. I'm like, but back then I was embarrassed to eat my Chinese food, so I would
Aww.
only eat school lunches. Like, I didn't want my mom to pack
Yeah.
me food because I'm like, I don't want to bring my Chinese food to lunch because people would be like, "What is that?" and judge me for it, But looking back, I'm like, damn, I should have ate that pizza and that hot dog. Like, I should have ate my Chinese food. Like, the Chinese food sounds so much better than like that American school lunch they gave us,
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, man, I regret, not, being so embarrassed, of
I know.
my culture as a child.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are just not used to like Asian food. I think even the most basic things. Like one time for work, I brought like braised eggs on like rice, which is like very
Yeah.
basic, I think. But then my boss, a white man, he came over and was like, "Huh, why is your egg brown?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a braised egg. It's braised, And he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, is it from like a brown egg? Like when you peel a brown egg, is it just brown on the inside?" And I'm like, no. He's like, "Oh, it's just brown like that." He's like, "I never seen a brown egg before." And I was like, "I don't even know if braised stuff is like Asian. I don't know, is it?" I'm like, Like, is a braised egg like Asian? I don't know. I'm like, how have you never seen a braised egg before? Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if I've seen a braised egg. I maybe let me look it up right now.
Yeah,
But
it's just brown.
the thing is that it's the automatic like for me, I would just clock that as like, I've never
Cool,
tried
yeah.
that, but I would not be like, what is that? Like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be like,
yeah.
I've never seen that
Oh,
before.
it's kind of like the finger pointing, but not finger pointing, but like the. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, what is
Yeah, I like if I don't understand it, it just means I don't know,
Yeah,
And then like
exactly.
it's more like I don't know how to explain it because it does feel like othering. Like your
Yeah,
explanation of
yeah.
this scenario
Oh, no,
feels like
that's
othering
true.
still.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, oh, that's weird. What is that, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it is othering.
it's
Yeah,
weird because you don't get it,
yeah,
the white person, not
yeah.
you.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I've had so many people been like, what is that to all my lunches I would bring.
That's
Yeah, all the
it just
time.
it's
Yeah,
like a matter of like is it genuine curiosity
yeah,
or is it
exactly.
like othering?
Exactly. Like, I never want to like think that people are being, ill-willed or have ill
Yeah.
intent. And I'm sure they don't have ill intent, but maybe it's just like this subconscious microaggression, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think the oh, that's weird
Yeah.
is already like, okay, what?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to be judging
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Even though it's such a lighthearted statement to them, like the
Mm-hmm.
intention behind it is not to be like
Yeah.
othering, but like you
Yeah.
said, like the
And
subconscious
like
part
you
of
said
it.
earlier, it's just so sad because like food is such a big part of like Asian culture. Like you
Yeah.
said in Filipino culture and in my experience in Chinese culture too, like all the big events, the family gatherings, they all happen around food. Like, when
Yeah.
your parents are mad at you, like, and then they make up for it. Like, they forgive you by giving you food later. Like, they don't say
Mhm.
sorry, sorry for fighting with you. No, they just give you
Mhm.
food. Food is a
Mhm.
way for, you know, them to
It's
show their love.
to share love.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
food is
Yeah.
love in Asian culture. And it's not really, like, you don't really see that in American culture.
Yeah.
So it's just sad that, you know, when our food, which is so symbolic to us, like, gets mocked and made fun of. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what is American food? I don't know, hot dogs, pizza. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, Miracle Whip.
yeah, what is American food culture? I don't know. Definitely not as good as Asian food culture. Yeah,
Honestly
maybe
though,
burgers. I don't know. Like, how can that compare to Asian foods? Like, I don't know.
as someone who's allergic to soy and sesame, and Asian being my most favorite food,
Yeah.
I will risk it for the biscuit sometimes. But like, God, I just
I know, that's
love
sad.
Asian food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Asian food so much.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, yeah, I don't like the otheringness when it comes to food, especially Filipino food. Like like I already know if I'm introducing someone to Filipino food, like my first introduction is going to be lumpia because that's the classic. It's digestible by people who are not familiar with Asian food. Like here is your
They're
first
just like
introduction.
spring rolls, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just Filipino egg rolls essentially.
Nice.
But like, yeah, so it's like that's like the start introduction, and then we can get on to the more advanced, so to speak,
Yeah.
of like foods that might be a little harder to digest mentally.
I don't know, like, why would, but personally for me, I'm like, maybe it's just because I love food. I love trying on different foods. Like, I'll try
Yeah.
anything, and maybe I don't like it later, but I will always try anything in the beginning. So I'm like, but
Same.
Filipino food is so good. Like,
It is so good.
how is it
I
hard
know.
to
I love that
digest?
you
I don't
love
know.
Filipino food.
I know, it's so good. But there's definitely a lot more, like, I feel like I had the basics, but I feel like there's a lot more I haven't tried yet.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way too. I feel like there's still more for me to explore when it comes to Filipino
Yeah.
food because I tend to go for my own classic
Uh-huh.
and what I'm comfortable with. but I do want to get more outside the box. Like I want to try a balut one of these days. And I know like that's one of the foods that people can be a little scared of.
Yeah. I mean, imagine bringing like balut to like class or school lunch. People would,
Yeah, I feel
kids
like
would
that would
bully
be
the heck out of you.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Yeah. I think the basic like Chinese food I would introduce people to is probably like maybe just a bao. I feel like that's so basic. Or just dumplings. I don't know. Very basic things like that.
I think that's
Like
a very good
yeah.
introduction. That's the same thing with like lumpia is like the most basic but classic choice. Everything
Yeah.
else is going to be like what's in that? Like it's going to be questionable looking
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. For Taiwanese food, I think like beef noodle soup is very like very iconic but very basic. But you could get like more like deeper into it. So like there's a very famous Taiwanese like street food. It's a pig's blood cake. So that might be viewed as like weird to others. It's literally like pig's blood and then like make it into a cake. But it's so good. It's one of my favorite like night market foods. But I can see
We have something similar too.
Oh really? Yeah, I can see how that could be
it's
weird.
also eerie. I mean, like the color itself. I think it's called dinuguan, but it's basically pig's blood.
Oh, okay. So yeah, very similar.
Yeah, and it's like a really dark color. So it's like damn near black, but it's not black. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a chocolate
Oh,
meat. Yeah.
Okay. So it's
or
also
it kind of
pig's
looks
blood?
off-putting. Yeah, it's like
okay.
the gravy on top is pig's blood, basically.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So in Taiwan, they make the pig's blood into like this little. It's called a pig's blood cake, but it's not really a cake. It's kind of like
Is it sweet, savory?
It depends on what topping you put on it. So you usually put like it's savory. You usually put a like a nut, like a kind of peanut butter-ish like nutty. So maybe you can't have it. I don't know.
Depends on the nut, I guess.
Yeah. Depends on the nut. But they usually put like this nut topping on it. Oh, sesame. So maybe.
No.
Yeah. They usually put the sesame topping on it.
That sounds
I mean,
good,
you
though.
can eat it without the sesame, but I think it's better with it.
No, I'm sure it is.
But it's just like this small bar. It kind of looks like a popsicle. So pretty small, but it's so good. I have to get it every time I go to Taiwan. Yeah, like peanut powder.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Another really good Taiwanese street food is stinky tofu, and it's kind of similar to like durian in that the smell is very like pungent, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's called stinky tofu because it's literally like stinky.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's stinky because I grew up I like grew up on it, you know? It's just like a normal smell to me. But others might think it's stinky because it's very strong and pungent. It's basically tofu that's like soaked in a brine for like a really long time of like fermented stuff. The fermentation process is like really long, like months, which gives it such a strong smell and flavor, but it's so good. But I think it's a very like developed taste. Like I don't know, because I took popcorn to eat stinky tofu and she didn't like it because the smell was like too strong. The smell was too pungent for her because it was her first time ever having it. So I'm like, maybe it's more of a like a developed taste. I don't know, but I love it.
It might be because my experience with durian at least was the smell was so strong that it kind of went to my taste buds too, where the smell was equivalent to the taste buds. So I just ended up like not liking it as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be because you grew up with it and you're used to it. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to meet someone who enjoyed those things and didn't grow up with it too.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, stinky tofu is everywhere. That's like the number one, like most famous, like Taiwanese, like night market street food thing. Like it's literally everywhere. Like every time you go to a night market, you can just smell the stinky tofu, and it's so good to me.
I wish I could have tofu.
Yeah,
I love tofu. There's this Filipino dessert. Not me saying tabo. It's not tabo. It's taho.
Tahoe?
Yeah, taho. So it's
Tahoe?
silken tofu. It's very, very soft. And then it
Oh.
has like a sweetener and like some flavoring. And then it has like similar to like like boba, tapioca pearls,
Mm-hmm.
but they use sago pearls, I think that's what
Oh,
they
yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And the tofu in itself is served warm, and then like you put
Oh,
everything
that
else, and
sounds
it's like
so
that
good. I
mixture
want
of
to try
like
that.
cool and warm.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to try it, but they do sell that on the streets. Like literally, there'll be like a vendor yelling "Taho,"
Oh,
like just straight
yeah,
up yelling
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Is there
Yeah.
like a pill or something you could take, like lactate for lactose intolerance people that you could take for your allergies so you can eat those foods? Do you have like a
um,
lactate version for
I have
your
I have a like. There's these not sponsored Claritin red
Oh,
tabs.
uh-huh.
They're like instant. Like once you
Oh.
take it, it'll melt in your mouth, and then like it's like it hits me hard right away, so that if I'm eating something in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, like the reaction won't be
Okay.
as
So
high.
you could potentially take that and eat all the tofu and Asian foods.
The issue is that I could do that and it would be fine, but it's
Uh-huh.
not the same every time.
Huh,
Bars.
like the reaction?
Yeah. So my reaction
Oh.
could be like very small
Oh.
versus another time I could feel the reaction stronger.
I see.
And I don't know if that has to do with like what I eat throughout the day too. Because like if
Mm.
I'm eating food in the start of the day that's already I'm allergic to, and then I keep on doing it throughout the day, I think my reaction could get more intense.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
I have felt that before where I'm like, well, I have been eating things that I shouldn't have eaten. And then I'm eating
Mm-hmm.
something again and I can feel it stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to the point where like I'll just like my whole body will not feel good. Like I'll have headaches and like I'll
Mm.
feel like a heaviness.
I see.
So
Hmm.
I think it would literally have to be I'm eating good and then I have this one thing
Yeah.
with my
I
tab,
see. I
and then I'm
see.
good. Yeah.
I see. That makes sense.
Yar.
Bring a
Yeah.
lot
When
of
I said
those on our Philippines
no,
trip.
yeah. When I said taho for
Yeah.
the silken tofu dessert, I was gonna accidentally say tabo, which is like what you use to wash. It's like the equivalent to bidets,
Oh.
but using like a bucket
Oh.
or like
Mm. To wash your
kind of a
booty.
cup, but bigger than it. So yeah, to wash your
Yeah, I
bidet.
see, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so they
Yeah.
sound very similar. um,
Yes.
yeah, that's funny. Oh yeah, another discriminatory thing. I remember boba. People will
Oh my
always be,
God.
yeah, like, oh,
Yeah.
why are you drinking black balls? So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have family members
Oh
who
really?
are so they don't like
On
boba
your
because they
dad's
don't
side?
like yeah.
Oh.
No, actually, well, they're white.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the white side of my family.
Okay, okay.
Um, where like they just feel like, why are you drinking something with stuff in it? Like
Oh
that whole
yeah.
concept to them is like, ew, what? No
Mm.
way.
Mhm.
But it's like,
But it's so
it's so
good.
good. You're missing out.
I know.
You're
Yeah, I
missing
think
out.
people really get grossed out, or like I know a lot of Caucasian people that really get grossed out by like the like tapioca, like boba in general, because
Yeah.
they're like black balls, and they're like, oh, I could never have that. It's so weird. Like you're just like eating and like slurping up like little black balls. It's so strange. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not, but okay.
I've seen similar reactions to there's this Filipino dessert where it's like ice cream
Halo
mixed with
halo.
halo halo, yeah, halo halo. And like
I've
literally
had that. It's
cuz there's
good.
just like it's
Yeah,
so
there's a
good.
bunch of stuff in it. It's
Yeah,
like
where people
everything
are
in it.
like
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Lots of
inconsistent
components.
textures
Mm-hmm.
throw them off.
Yeah.
Um
But
yeah,
I don't know if it's something you have to like just get used to. I don't know. But I mean,
I
I've
don't know
never had
either.
halo halo until like a few years ago, like when I was well into an adult, and
Mhm.
I thought it was good, but Like, I had no problem with it. But maybe that's because I'm Asian, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
wow, 2 hours.
There
Oh my
more
gosh.
you wanted to mention? I know. I was like,
I'm
I feel like we
wait.
got a lot in here.
We talked about so much. I think that's it. Yeah, lots of just continue, for everyone listening / watching, continue, being aware of like just like microaggressions and not perpetuating stereotypes or like stuff like the model minority myth. Just like raise awareness in yourself and others, and continue to support the Asians and the Asian Americans around you, especially during Asian American Pacific Islander month. And not even just for this month, but Asian American Pacific Islander month should be for every month, just like how Women's History Month should be every month, and LGBTQIA plus a month should be every month, but and like Black History Month should be every month. But yeah, just happy API month, and continue to support and raise awareness and advocate for Asians and Asian Americans.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Very proud to be who we are.
I know. And I feel like it's been a long journey for me to be the person I am today. Because currently I feel immense pride in being Taiwanese American, especially after going back to Taiwan recently. The entire time I was in Taiwan, I was like, wow, I'm so proud to be Taiwanese, and I would never want to be anyone else. I want to be me. I'm so proud to be me. So proud to be Asian, so proud to be Taiwanese American. And that is a thought that would have never occurred to me as a child growing up, because I went from someone who desperately wanted to not be Asian American to someone who would never want to be anyone else,
Yeah.
Like,
aww, I love that for you.
Thank you. If I,
that's so awesome.
Lived another life, through reincarnation or whatever, I would still pick to be Taiwanese American, because I just love who I am so much. I'm so proud of who I am today. And it's definitely been a long journey to be where I am right now. But I'm very, very glad and grateful for who I am currently.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that so much. I also feel the same way. I would pick being the same girly pop that I am.
Yeah, it's just important to have pride in your cultural identity and who you are, because all those things make up who you are as a person. Like, every facet of yourself and your cultural identity, your ethnicity, and like your ancestral history, like everything you are makes up who you are as a person. And you're not just parts, you're one person as a whole. So I think that's really important to remember. And like I said, been a long journey, but I'm very proud that we're finally here, in this stage. And hopefully now that we're here, we can share our stories and raise awareness with other people too. So
Yep. I love us being the unique person we are. I think it's, especially when navigating being an actor, and when you put yourself out there, I'm not capturing the beauty standard of American media, right? But I understand that I represent somebody who also looks like me, or who also has gone through certain similar things. And I think that has also been a part of my healing process of loving who I am, and I wouldn't want to be anyone else either. Like you said it so perfectly. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. And I'm proud to be this biracial lady, Asian American, and living the way that I live, and I'm happy nonetheless of it. And so I was going somewhere with this, but I kind of lost it.
No, I think you said it really well.
Thanks.
But yes, be proud of who you are.
Yes.
That's the moral of this podcast. Happy API month. Yeah, anything else? I think that's it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Next time we'll have an episode in the Philippines and then in Taiwan.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would love that. Please.
Okay. Well, it was a long episode, but thank you everyone who watched or listened the entire thing. The entire way through. If you're here right now, you're amazing. We love you.
Yes.
Guys, cuties.
For real.
Yes,
Love you, cuties.
yes.
For real.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. And then don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and follow our Instagram. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the GirlyPop TV episode. This has been your co-host, Blindfoldhero, and
Koolkayak. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Bye,
All right.
cuties.
Bye, cuties.
Happy AAPI Heritage Month.
Yes, happy AAPI Heritage Month. Bye, cuties.